Okay. So tell us a little bit about Womenur.
Okay, so Womenur is a brand that I launched in 2015. And believe it or not, I tell people this story to this day, right? Prior to Womenur, of course, I have this extensive background in entrepreneurship. And the business I had at the time was very sustainable. So, or self sustaining. So, literally, I was twiddling my thumbs, doing research on what to create. I started looking online and started seeing the crazy, right? And I say that in quotes. I literally started seeing like crazy looking branding and crazy looking messaging and just the way that female founders showed up for themselves. And it literally hit me like, oh my gosh, it was a huge epiphany. Wow, all of these years of doing entrepreneurship for myself, right? Running a magazine and a concierge company, I realized that I was aligned with wanting to help the newbie, right? The startup founder. And that's when it literally clicked. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to create something to help newbie female founders launch their business. And Womenur came around. I initially called it Black Women's Collective. I literally have all of my notes. But at the time, people were like, oh, you're going to do something only for Black women? Oh my God, it was so frowned upon. And so I can't believe to this day, that's one small regret that I'm kicking myself over and not moving forward with Black Women's Collective. And so I went to Fiverr or Upwork and literally paid this guy in India $99 and told him to come up with something. And he came up with Womenur. And so it didn't click right away. And then I was just like, wow, that's so unique. It's a coined term. And that's how Womenur literally was born. I was just on a mission to help newbie female founders launch and grow their business.
Wow. And most times we don't hear founders talk about their regrets as much. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm certain that there's going to be, something other people consider. And then even with what you said about like only Black women, I kind of
Mhm.
get a lot of heat behind, saying the magazine is for only Black women, but so I get that. So how did you come to niche down to sustainability?
Well, here's the thing, right? I say this all the time, and that's an excellent question. I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. And so Womenur is one of several businesses that I have owned. And so I literally started talking about sustainability because now it's a buzzword, right? I'm not saying I made it up and I created it, but I will say this. I know that I was one of the first to start talking about sustainability probably around 2020. Sustainability meaning being able to create longevity, right? This is what sustainability means, right? We're not talking about greenery and trees, right? And right, sustainability is creating longevity. So me having created several brands and being in a space, especially in COVID, right? In COVID is where my income nearly tripled. Within the first 3 months of COVID, my income nearly triples. For the year, it nearly doubles. And I was just like, holy shit, there's something here. It made me realize, Francesca, that my sustainable foundation had been created. And when I say foundation, I want to, sustainability, I want to reiterate, yes, that means longevity into the foreseeable future. However, I have this thing where I say, aligned with your soul, sanity, and sustainability? Are you working with customers that feel good to you? Are you showing up in a way that is authentic and feels good to you? Are you connecting with people that allow you to foster a meaningful relationship? All of this ties back to sustainability. Are you making money in a way that can be put on repeat? Right. And so this is what made me realize, like, holy crap, this is sustainability. And if you look back at my old posts, I introduced sustainability. And I remember I was talking to my ex-coach and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to start talking about this. And they're going to think I'm talking about forests and trees. And she was like, there's only one way to find out. And so all of that meant that I'm in the game, baby. right? These people were twiddling their thumbs during COVID and came to me because they were at a standstill and thought of me. So sustainability is that longevity, that reputation, creating this authority and establishing this credibility as the go-to, but also fostering things that align and foster, like I say, things that align with your soul, sanity, and sustainability. So that's how it all came about. It's a
Wow.
sustainable ecosystem.
And actually, what you said, like a lot of it kind of almost goes into my field. I'm a publicist also, so it kind of makes me think about, how we talk about public relations, and oftentimes people don't really know what that is, and yeah, so you're making a lot of sense to me. So
Thank you.
how do you integrate sustainable practices into Womeneur's business model to ensure long-term growth while also supporting and I don't know why, but I had the environment, but I'm gonna say the community.
Right. Excellent. So that's a great question, right? Because again, this whole thing of sustainability came to me in like around 2020, right? And so I didn't realize at the time that I had already began implementing sustainable practices, right? So I'm a rule breaker, rebel, maverick, whatever you want to call it. I'm a critical thinker. And I question authority, and I teach my customers and community to question authority, right? And so this sustainability is, again, going back to doing things and only saying yes, the things that feel good and align with your soul, sanity, and sustainability. And those sustainable practices do look like fostering relations with customers that are going to, I call it reciprocal bandwidth, right? We're not chasing them down. We're not convincing them and pleading and begging them. We are aligned and in tune to those customers that want to reciprocate the way they show up for us to get the results and the transformation that we as experts know we can deliver to them, and not align ourselves to individuals that are going to negotiate your price down, want you to, I call it pimp the shit out of your soul, right? Where they want to overstep their boundaries, right? And want more, right? Where I'm speaking to individuals that are going to motivate and inspire me versus being the negative Nancy and like, girl, what are you doing? And wanting me to dim my shine, right? I'm moving in spaces where my audaciousness and my boldness, right, is accepted and not tolerated, right? I'm creating offers that align with my zone of genius. I am working and creating offers that allow me to work with customers along their entire journey versus just creating offers that are like, oh, let me get this money. Let me do a money grab, right? So everything is aligned with putting in processes and strategies that align with my core values, who I am, and allow me to show up as my highest self so I can allow my customers to also align to their highest self. And that to me is fostering and implementing sustainable practices. That makes sense to you?
Yes, it definitely does. And I think oftentimes we do see most coaches kind of teaching us like to almost pander to our customers, and run behind them. And then we have the customers and clients who do overstep boundaries and want to negotiate prices. So I think especially, I don't know how it's been for a lot of people, but for us, it's been a lot of that lately. So I definitely think other business owners would be interested in knowing more about that. And so what two tips would you share with female founders about sustainability? Especially, I know you tend to work more so with newbies, but for those that may have already been in business and weren't considering sustainability at the time.
Mhm. Well, that's a good thing, and I'm glad you mentioned that. But however, I have built, right, my multi six-figure brand working with female founders in several stages, right, to help them launch, to help them grow, and to help them scale. However, because of my pivot now, right, I am solely focusing right now on newbie female founders, right? So I just want to make that clear, right? And oh goodness, did I forget your question, right? You said 2 tips about sustainability.
Mhm.
Again, sustainability is about aligning with who you are so that you can show up as your highest self. And so 2 things around those is number one, the one thing that I wish that I knew before I even began my business, right? I'm going to do one for before you begin your business and after, is to get your mind right, develop your mindset, right? All roads lead back to your mindset. And I say that because there's all this online banter, all this online bullshit. Do this, do that. No, don't do this. Show up this way, show up that way. Do this. No, don't do that. It's just an overload of noise. And I believe that a lot of it is generic banter, right? That overwhelms these newbies who want to start this dream business. And I say mindset because it allows you to value yourself, give yourself grace, recognize and appreciate where you are on your journey, that you're in chapter 0, girlfriend, right? You don't want to be in chapter 20, right? You don't want to start a business on Monday and think that you're going to hit 6 figures on Friday. This is what the online space is projecting, right? And so the mindset, right? I say think like a badass CEO, right? And to stay in your lane, to own who you are, to not be afraid to do things your way and to do things that feel good to you. And it is your mindset that is going to help you develop the resilience and the wherewithal to filter out this BS noise that's being thrown at you from every direction, right? To stand your ground, to believe in who you are, move forward confidently with your plans and not allow this BS chatter to sway you and make you go down a different path, right? And to just stay in tune with who you are, what feels good to you, what does a dream lifestyle look like to you, how does it feel, without the pressure and the sway from these societal BS norms of what society success looks like. So there's your mindset before you even begin your business. Developing that resilience, learning to have these confident CEO choices, right? Not this dusty, draining decisions. All of these things that will help you stay in your lane to launch the business of your dream. And for the ones who have already established, it's a matter of returning to your roots, your core self, establishing your core values. Because it's true, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything, right? So you have to identify, be okay with, even if whether you're a year in, 2 years in, 5 years in, revisit your core values, revisit your goals, tune in to what feels good to you, who feels good to you, right? And whatever doesn't feel good to you, whoever doesn't feel good to you, whatever strategies you have in place, whatever offers you have in place, your customers, fire them, damn it, if you have to, right? Do a clean out. So understand that you need to revisit your core values, your goals, and make sure that you are at all times aligned with them. And all of your strategies and processes, that sustainable ecosystem is what's going to help you to move forward in a way that feels, looks, and sounds good to you. And that is what creates that sustainable force, that flow, because now you're flowing and not forcing.
Right. Okay. And I get all of that. So, you recently rebranded your personal Instagram account. What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, for the longest, right, I launched my Womenur brand as Womenur online, right? And I grew this brand organically to a community of 170,000 followers, right? Now, fast forward, I've evolved, right? My audience has evolved. I've evolved. My ideologies are different. My core values have changed, right? Who I want to show up for has changed. What I want to do has changed. And so I decided, you know what? I'm tired of showing up for Womenur, right? It just feels a bit boxed in, So I decided, Francesca, hey, I want to go the route of just having a personal brand and showing up as Sharon Beason versus showing up as Womenur. And this evolution, right? Evolution demands change, right? And so, because of all of these reasons that I just stated, a change in who I work with, a change in who I'm aligned with, my ideologies, the way I do things, right? It's more about what feels good to me. F these rules that are being thrown at you left and right every single day, right? I've been in business enough to know that rules don't matter except yours. The only rules that matter are yours, right? And so I said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired. I like to travel. So there's this constant, oh my goodness, before I travel, things have to be scheduled. And if I'm not outsourcing to engagement specialists, then I have to be on during vacation. So it only felt right to make the decision again to align to what feels good to my soul, sanity, and sustainability. And that is to transition away from this Womenur account, which is just, in my opinion, flatlined, right? And develop my own personal brand as Sharon Beason. Although my business is still Womenur, I want people to get to know me. Yes, I like to smoke cigars, right? Yes, I like to travel up to frequently. Who am I, right? I really believe I've done an amazing job with creating this brand of a reputation of being authentic and honest and transparent. But I want to show snapshots of my life. Who is Sharon? Who are you connecting to? Right? Do you align with my core values? Because it's not just about sell, 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 offer, offer, offer. It's get to know me, get to know what I'm about. Do you align with who I am as a person? And it feels more sustainable, right? It feels good to know that I'm not obligated. This is what I feel with my personal brand. I'm not obligated to schedule posts. I'm not obligated to keep people entertained, right? So it feels like the right decision to me to abandon the Womenur Instagram and let people come into Sharon Beason's world. And that's how I want to move forward in not only getting to know what I offer and how I can mentor you, you're getting to know who is the person that you are doing this with. And to me, it's more about relationships than being transactional. I felt very transactional with Womenur, but with my personal brand, it feels where I can feel where I can have more genuine connections. And it's about relationships and being relatable versus being transactional.
Wow. And that is so deep because everything that you're saying kind of comes down to, us, the individual that is behind the business, how we're feeling, how we're thinking, and then working from there as opposed to like how oftentimes, yeah, even with what you just said, I guess it just boils down to things being transactional and then things that are more so based on relationships. So that makes a lot of sense. And I had another question, but I think you've actually answered it. You've answered everything. I don't want you to keep repeating yourself or anything, but my last question, I guess, would just be, is there anything you would like to add?
Well, I will add this, right, Francesca, because it's just been weighing on my mind lately. Um, there's just been a huge change in the landscape of the online business world. And I believe that now more than ever, business owners need to stand up for themselves. Now more than ever is the time to create your own rules and unlearn, because this is what I've had to do over the years. Don't be afraid to unlearn a lot of the BS that you've consumed. Don't be afraid to create your own lane. I truly believe now more than ever is the time to start making your own rules and start questioning and aligning with what feels good to you. Now more than ever is the time to do that, to question authority, to second guess what this popular a popular person or popular guru is saying, to become more in tune with what is your soul saying, What is your gut and your intuition saying? And it's okay to create your own rules. Abolish, abandon, abort. I don't care what you do. Tune into you. It's in you to know what feels good to you. And do not be afraid just because Jane, Sally, and Susan are not doing it. Be okay with doing something that feels good to you, even if the majority is not doing it. I promise you, now more than ever, because information is a commodity, information. People want to know who you are. So do not be afraid to show up with your universal DNA, one of a kind, unique DNA. Now is the time to question all the rules, question everyone, and totally do what feels good to you.
I love it. I'm gonna end here. 1 second.